and greetings from Chicagoland. I'm Munira Zahabi, the Niche Navigator, and welcome to Munira's Musings. I'm your host, podcaster, author, coach, and international speaker. Each week, I bring you insightful conversations with extraordinary individuals who share their unique perspectives and stories. Join me on this captivating journey as we explore new ideas and inspirations. Now, let's dive into today's episode with our special guest.
Greetings from Chicagoland. This is Munira, the CEO and founder of Kismet Ventures. I am also the Niche Navigator, where I help coaches and people find clarity in their lives, find their niche and markets to it. My guest today is Diane Dick, who is my friend also. Hi, Diane.
Hey, Munira.
Hi, thank you so much for being here. I am so humbled and honored that you are here.
Aw.
Thank you. And so tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, thanks. First of all, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here. Hello, everybody out there that's watching. As she said, I'm Diane. I currently live just outside of Austin, Texas. I grew up in Alton, Illinois, which is right outside of St. Louis, Missouri. But I've been in Texas really ever since I graduated from college in, that was a long time ago. Let me just say that. In 86, I guess it was. So I am, I guess, a Texan. I don't know how long it takes to become a Texan, but I guess I am a Texan. I have a company, Legacy Training and Development, and I am a John Maxwell coach, just like Munira is, and lots of our other colleagues. But I've also been doing a lot of work, not only doing the coaching and personal and professional growth, but I also do a lot of work in high-risk industries. I do a lot of leadership and behavior-based safety training, and that's really where I got into the training aspect of what we all kind of do. And have had the opportunity to travel the world. Back behind me, it's kind of a little glare, is a world map you can kind of see. What you can't see is pins in it, and there's pins to every country that I've traveled, and there's been a lot, let me just say that. I've had the opportunity to travel to every continent except for Antarctica, and I'm just still trying to get there so I can put a pin in that map. But I have been extremely blessed and working, and I'm still doing that work. To be very honest, that's what pays probably a majority of my bills right now, but I am building a training and coaching business. And the big focus for me for the last, I'm going to say 6 months, a year, I've been thinking about it, but really actively for the past 6 months, is to build out a virtual instructor-led coaching and training program. And I use those words very precisely, virtual instructor-led training and coaching program. And we call it the By Design Learning Institute. And when I say virtual instructor led, it's not a webinar where you listen to people speak and the only way you communicate is via the chat bar off to the side. It's not that. It's certainly not computer-based training, CBT, where you just stare at a computer for hours on end and take tests. It really is almost exactly like you and I are doing right now. We're using Zoom as a platform, and we get participants on the screen, and we're able to talk back and forth just like you and I are talking today, and we're able to learn together. And we have coaching programs, and to me, coaching is we're kind of learning together, and we're guiding and directing, and as part of your niche, by helping people get clarity. But I will also say we have training programs, and training to me is skill development. So you're actually learning tangible, applicable skills to increase your influence, your communication, your leadership, all those things that most of us need in life. So we're really excited about it. Our ultimate goal is to be a go-to training location for virtual instructor-led training. So we are building it out, and I've teamed up with a few other fantastic people, Melanie Ake, Miziel Diaz, and Greg Storch, who are all John Maxwell trainers and coaches, but we teamed up to collaborate on this project, and we're really excited about it. So let me stop there, because I can keep going a long time.
No, I'm very much interested. So how did you, I understand this is your project and it's your baby. So how did this come into, existence? What led it?
It was a journey. Just like you and I talked a little bit before we got on the call, it was a journey. And I'm not going to lie, I went through probably a good year or so trying to figure out my niche, trying to figure out, we have access to all this fantastic information. We're surrounded by 20,000 John Maxwell people. Everybody's doing so many different things. And so I wasn't quite sure for a long time. And what I really did, Munira, is I did the exercise that I think a lot of us probably have done. In fact, I've heard you talk about it. In one bucket, what are you good at, right? Really listing out. In fact, I think you just did this just recently. Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
A 5-day challenge.
Exactly. And so, what are you good at? Looking at your skills, what's your passion? What do you love to do? And then for me, the third bucket was, what can you make money at? Because I wanted to build a business, right? And I got to make money. So I really spent some time on that, kind of very similar, not exact, but similar to your 5-day challenge. And I used those 3 buckets for me. And what I knew I was good at is I'm really good at facilitating. I'm good at facilitating dialogue and conversations. I'm good at training. And I'm good at experiential learning, and that's a niche of mine. In fact, that's probably a unique niche from a lot of other coaches and trainers out there, is I'm really good about engaging people in exercises that help them learn by doing. But not just learn by doing, reflecting, and applying. That's really experiential learning by doing, learning by reflecting, and learning by then applying those lessons to life. Let me just say life, whatever that looks like for you, right? And so I made this list of what I'm good at, and then I also made the list of what I'm passionate about. Now, I was fortunate, to be very honest with you. What I was good at is a lot of what I was passionate at.
Yeah.
Those overlapped a lot. And so I was really good with that. The hard part is the bottom part. What can I get paid doing? And how can I get paid doing it? Well, I'd already been getting paid in my work in the oil and gas industry. But as we all know, probably good for most of the Americans is when the oil prices went down, so did gas prices at the pump, right? So we all celebrated. Well, there is a small group of us that make our living out of that industry. So when that industry went down, my income went down. My training opportunities went down. And at the worst financial time of my life is when I spent the most money I've ever spent on myself, and that was to join the John Maxwell team. It was very counterintuitive, right? You don't have any money going out, but you're fixing to spend thousands of dollars to join, the Maxwell team. But I did it. I did it because something in me, and I couldn't even tell you what, but it's that gut instinct, that intuition saying, if you invest in yourself, Diane, something good's going to come out of it, because you're going to make it. You're going to make something happen. I didn't know what it was going to be, but I knew that if I could invest in myself, I was going to make something of it. So I made that decision a couple of years ago, and I just surrounded myself, like you have, with really great people to learn from. And, then I kind of started to think of, where is the training industry these days? A lot of companies are having a hard time, spending money on training. And our kind of training is not required training, like regulatory training and things like that. So I got to find a way to deliver really high quality training, but do it at an affordable cost, not only to individuals, but to companies as well. Yeah. And so when we learned, and through the John Maxwell and all the fantastic people, I learned about Zoom. I didn't know anything about it. I'd been on video conference calls in the past, but that was different. I thought, gosh, I could really do something with this. And so I've spent the last year really just thinking about it. And then once I got some really ideas in my head, then I purposely went out to our compadre of people and started to find people that I felt like would really complement what I had and what I could do. And I started to partner up with those folks. And then, just long story short, it kind of started to blossom, and then we are where it is now, where we have By Design Learning Institute.
So it starts with intentionality, right?
Oh, it was very intentional. I mean, at the very beginning, it wasn't, though. To be fair, I know I had that glare. Obviously my office is painted red, so it's a little darker in here. In the beginning, it wasn't intentional about what I was going to do. It was intentional that I was going to do something. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah. I knew I was going to do something. I just didn't know what it was. And then once I started sending myself through these little exercises, and I started bouncing ideas off of people, and, got in some mastermind groups and some things just like you do, and they were helping people find their niche. I got around people that either had found their niche or that were still on that journey. And we just started talking. But I intentionally picked up the phone, reached out to people. Hey, can I get a little bit of your time? And we would talk. And the more I talked about it and learned what other people were doing, things started to clarify in my mind. And well enough, a few months ago, I took a trip to Norway, and I worked in Norway for 2 months in the oil and gas industry doing that part of my business. And when I was there, I had a lot of thinking time on my time off. And I don't know what it was, Munira, it just popped. It just popped in my head, the structure of what I wanted to create. But it popped because I had been thinking about it and talking to a lot of people and been very intentional about that. But the whole structure just popped in my head. And as soon as it popped, from Norway, I'm picking up the phone, calling people. Here's my idea. Here's what I want to do. And are you interested in joining? Or can you give me some feedback? And what do you think? And the more I talk to people, they're like, man, you got something. I think this is going to be good. And I just went with my gut feeling, and we just very intentionally, very quickly started to build it out.
And it starts with that, right? Because I find people who are so lost in the weeds that they don't know what to do. But if they start thinking the intention is there, that I want to make a change or I want to do something different, just that, things will fall into place. Like you, when I started working, I was working in corporate America, and in 5 years, I lost 4 jobs.
Wow.
I began to think something's wrong with me. But I realized, and I had been seeing this as an influx, that they did not want experienced people on their team, and they wanted fresh out of college students.
Oh yeah.
And so I was competing with students, and I asked a few young fellows, they're smart people. I'm not saying they don't. They know how to use Excel like I don't know how to use Excel and things like that. But experience was what I brought to the table, and they didn't want that. And so, I asked them, they were making the same amount of money that I was, and I couldn't get it out of my head. I was willing to travel. I was willing to do whatever the young folks were doing, but they didn't want me on their teams anymore. The fresh ideas was what they wanted. And so, I didn't fit in. And so, they eventually, in most cases, there was a redundancy. There was 2 layoffs in one company. And then I was let go in the second round. Then the second one, there was just, we are not doing healthcare anymore. So we can't do that, because I come from healthcare background.
Yeah.
Then, the other companies were local mom and pop shops. But the final, all of these companies, the first 2 were my dream companies. They were something that I would have loved to retire from. And I lived my whole life in their company.
Right.
But the thing is, they did not acknowledge us, right? So then I realized that having a job was just having a job, because they could cut you at any time. Yeah. And the last 2 were, these jobs required me to be seated behind a desk. And I'm not the type of person that you chain behind a desk. I like people. I like being out there. And so I've always, and the other thing was that joining Maxwell, I've been looking for a coach, something that I would help me grow. And I've always wanted to help people, but I never knew how. So then somebody said, you need a coach. And then it's like, okay, who do you find? And there's some coaches out there, I shouldn't be saying it, but I will, that just don't care about your growth or don't care about the money. They take the money and you're just a number in their books.
Yeah.
But when I saw different coaches, and I went on LinkedIn and I found different John Maxwell coaches, and they showed me, there were some people who were very, very open. They showed me their back office. They said, okay, I'll change my password here. Go into my back office. This is all you get. That time the executive branch hadn't, started or anything. We just had mentorship. And I looked at all of the information, and I did my research for 6 months. And I said, this is the coach for me. But then I started reading his books, But, had I joined Maxwell when I had first heard of it, I would have been a founding member.
Yeah. Well, and now, and that's the thing, Munira, and I think you've experienced it. And now the beauty of it is you recognize You recognize the challenge people are going, through. Do they really need a coach, and what value can a coach bring? But also that there are definitely some better coaches than others out there, and they're coaching for a variety of reasons. One, maybe just to make money, but I think a lot of us, you definitely, me definitely, we're doing it for the good of that person. And that's one of the drivers of the By Design Learning Institute, is because of how we designed it as group coaching, not so much one-on-one, although all of us do one-on-one coaching, but because it's a group setting and because it's virtual, then we can do it at a very affordable price. And yes, it is our business. I'm not going to lie. Yes, I want to make money off of it. I'm not going to be ashamed to say that. But I can guarantee you, if you go in and you take a look at what you get, for what you pay, as they say, you won't find another program out there probably at the cost structure that we have right now, and the quality of the coaches you get that really are in it for the right reason. So you got to find the right place. You got to find the right fit. That's for sure.
So yeah, and so then this is why I do these shows, because it started out by doing, there was this one girl who was like, I'm this is what I do. This is what I coach on. I asked her about her value. She didn't know what it was all about. And I realized that, let me interview you. Just let me interview you. It started out as a prank, if you will. And I realized that as I meet more people, there are so many different coaches that do so many different things. Although they use one title, they say life coach, or they say health coach, or they just say mind and body spiritual coaches. When you start looking into what they are doing, everybody has found their niche, and it's like, hey, I need this thing right here. So my thing was, let me just find not only coaches, but people who are doing good and enhancing other people's lives. So I've met people in India, in Africa, in Asia. There's people, I've got 100 interviews done, and several others just scheduled to happen. And I am so proud that I'm meeting all these people, people like you. And, I wouldn't have met you if I hadn't met you on a call or something. I don't even know how we met, but you inspired me so much, because you have these games, these fun learning games that help other people become.
And that's exactly what I think, in my opinion. Again, this is Diane's opinion because it's our program. But I've always been the person that if I'm going to train, or if I'm going to coach, or if I'm a speaker, right, doing everything we do, right, doesn't matter if I'm classroom or doing the virtual, I want to stand out. I want to be unique. I want to do something a little different than everybody else is doing. And so when we put the By Design Learning Institute together, then we wanted to create an experience for people that was a little different than normally they would get if they got onto a group coaching. And you and I have both been on it. And again, I agree with you, no disrespect, but when you get on mastermind groups with some folks, they're kind of reading out of the book, right? And they're just doing basically a glorified book study. And that's really a lot of what it is. And I think you can get that very easily in a lot of ways, but we wanted to use, the resources that we have licensed to teach, plus some, but we wanted to create a unique experience. So it's not like just looking at the book and learning from the book. It's really talking into the learnings the lessons out of that specific chapter or that part of the book, and then really applying that to our life and doing it via group discussion, partner shares, using experiential learning, doing hands-on, flip chart exercises. A variety of things to really create an engaging experience. That's where we're going with the By Design Learning Institute, because people learn by doing. People want to have fun. They want to talk. They want to engage. They want their mind and their thinking challenged. They want to help create clarity and direction for themselves, all those things. But as you know, putting yourself in an environment around other like-minded people, purpose-driven people, that are really kind of on a growth path, no matter what that growth path is, it can be anything. But as long as they're growing and they want to develop themselves, you put yourself in that situation around those type of people, it's hard not to grow, because the environment that we've created will kind of almost force you to grow, because it is that environment.
And the thing that I like about when we were talking in the beginning, and I have attended a few of your classes on Sundays when you have the group coaching goal, is that you have so many. I mean, I don't know where you come up with this, but these games, I've used one or two in the family. We have family gatherings, and I've used one or two where, it has allowed people to leave their phones and be attentive to what's happening.
Absolutely.
And cognizant, and the fact is, these can be used in, not only families, but also, friends and also work environment, which is what was intended for, right, in the beginning.
Right. That's exactly it.
Okay.
So it is about getting around like-minded people, and so they can really stimulate your thinking, and you can grow from them. And the beauty of it is when you put yourself around people that are, I don't want to say a higher level, but that are further along in their journey, right? Then those are the people you learn from. Because if you surround yourself by people that are not probably as far along, you can certainly help them and support them, but you don't tend to learn as much because they're not as challenging to you in your thinking and the way you go about doing business. But if you put yourself around people that are further along, then those are the folks you're going to kind of learn from, and you're going to start to grow and develop, and then pretty soon you're going to be at their level, and you're going to be able to continue to give back to the folks that are starting their journey. So,
and that's what it is, right? But the whole thing begins with that first step, right?
Absolutely, and that's
make that step.
That's the beauty of what you're doing, because you're helping them create their niche. You're helping them take that first step of kind of figuring out what is their niche, what is that they want to do, and help them gain clarity. And you got to start somewhere, and I think that's a great place to start.
Well, thank you. But I also do this. And I also do these shows because I told you, I said I like the fact that there's so many coaches out there.
Yeah.
There are so many people who need your services. So
I hope so. I mean, we certainly we certainly want to try to reach get a reach out there for folks that really are looking to whether it be grow themselves personally, professionally, or from a business. And we kicked this off, Munira, on literally the new design of it, if you will, on Monday. So we haven't been started long. I mean, literally last Monday, a week ago today, we kicked this off. And it was really interesting because I woke up that morning, Monday morning, a week ago Monday, and I woke up, and then one of the first things I thought of that popped in my head as I was kind of waking up out of the drowsiness of being asleep was, today is the day. Those were the 4 words that came to my mind. Today is the day. And yep. And for some reason, I kept thinking those 4 words all day long. Today's the day. Today's the day we're going to kick this off. Today's the day that could really be the start of something really big. Today's the day could be the start of really an opportunity for so many people to learn and grow with us. And today's the day. And it kept resonating in my head all day long. And I thought for myself, and I've been reflecting on this for the last few months, is I'm in a really good place in my life. And I'm blessed to say that. I'm in a pretty decent place financially, meaning at least I can put food on my table. I'm certainly not rich by any stretch, but I got enough money to put food on my table. I feel like I'm in a good place spiritually, not religiously, but spiritually grounded. My stress level in most cases is pretty low, except because now I have a new puppy, so that stress level goes up and down a little bit, trying to keep the energy in my household contained. But I'm just in a lot of ways in a really good place. But the place I'm not in a good place is my health. I'm not sick by any stretch, but I'm out of shape, I'm overweight, and I've been in the worst shape of my life. And it's always been that thing that I have procrastinated on, and I've told myself, okay, one day, okay, Diane, you need to get moving, you need to exercise, you need to eat right, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I keep telling myself that, and I don't do any of it. And so on Monday, I woke up and said, today's the day. And because I was launching and I felt like it was a little bit of a rebirth for the By Design Learning Institute, I thought, today's the day. Today's the day I'm going to start exercising. I'm going to get a little healthier, and I'm going to start that path, because that's the one part in my life that I'm very unsatisfied with. And so all week last week, I have started going to the gym and exercising more. And when I exercise more, I eat better. And the whole point of me saying that, Munira, is I started this mantra, today is the day. And I got on, and John Maxwell says, if you're going to set a goal and be serious about it, publicize it. So I publicized it to the world. I got on a Facebook Live, which I don't do very often. I don't really like doing them, but I stepped out of my comfort zone and I started to do Facebook Live, and I started out with today's the day. And I told people what I was doing. I told people my health is crap and I need to get exercising, and today's the day I'm going to start, because we're kicking off By Design Learning Institute, and what a great opportunity for me to make that next leap in my life and try to get a little healthier and everything. And so the whole week last week has been today the day. Today is the day. And so every morning now I get up and I do a Facebook Live around today is the day. And because it's kind of like the Nike Just Do It.
Yeah.
It's pretty catchy. And for me, it's like, it kind of goes back to everything you're saying, Munira. When are people going to start? We think about it and we're not happy with our life. We know something should change. We even might know what we should change, but we think about it and we ponder about it and we talk about it, but we don't do anything about it. And so
we procrastinate.
That's exactly it. And we are all, me included, I can come up with 1,000 reasons why, well, not reasons, excuses is really what it is, why I don't have time to exercise or time to take care of myself. And they're all bull, because I do have the time and I can do it. I come up with all these stupid excuses of why I can't, because I really don't want to. Subconsciously, I don't want to exert the energy it's going to take to do it. Because there's a little probably subliminal into me is that fear of failure. I don't want to fail again, because God knows we've all tried diets, and I've tried this before, and then I kind of resort back. But I woke up Monday and I was like, today's the day. Today's the day I'm going to do something different. I'm going to change this piece in my life, and I'm going to make it work this time. And so far, now granted, I'm a week into it, so I still have a long way to go. But the message, today is the day.
Yes, I love it.
I love it. I love it too. And thank you. I mean, I really have a lot of passion. This is my newest I have a passion around that, because we all have a today is the day. And probably now on Wednesday, give or take, last Wednesday, I was trying to figure out, again, clarity, what am I going to do with this? Because I knew it had something. I just didn't know what that something was. And again, I was going to bed this time. And I'm pondering over my day and saying some prayers and thank you for, having a blessed day and yada, yada. And it came to me, is that today is the day is about two things. It is about, today is the day for me to do something to grow myself, develop myself, start doing something that's good for me. But also today is the day is also about doing something good for somebody else. And so probably middle of the week, Wednesday or Thursday, I think, what I now have started, and I want people to listen in, I do them right around 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, AM, okay, is I do about a 5-minute Facebook Live, today is the day, Facebook Live, and I give an assignment every day. And that assignment is really simple. It's like the first assignment I had was one of the assignments I had was to actually think about somebody you have not connected with for a while and send them some type of a message letting them know you're thinking of them. I don't know whether it be an email, a text message, a private message, a phone call. That's the assignment today. Think of somebody you haven't connected with for a while and just send them something to say, hey, you're thinking about them. Okay, how long does that take? I mean, literally a minute or two, right? But we've all been on the receiving end of somebody that has reached out and sent us a really nice, not a chain email, how they send those chain messages, not that, a personal message. Just say, hey, I just want to let you know I was thinking of you. Boy, I sure remember those times where we, fill in the blank. And I just wanted to let you know I was thinking about you today. I mean, to me, who that warms my heart when I get a message like that,
Yeah.
And so my assignment one day was to do that. And I had probably 8 to 10 people reach out to me and said, oh my God, and they told me who they reached out to and the difference it made. One gal who I think Sonia Etchemendi, Okay, I love her. She's part of the Jal Maxwell. She had the most touching story of who she reached out to. And they ended up crying together on the phone because this lady she reached out to never realized how much impact she had had in Sonia's life and her past life and a business life she had. I mean, how beautiful is that?
Yeah.
So today is the day. And so every morning, 10 o'clock CST, I get on literally for maybe 5 minutes. I hold myself accountable. I tell you what exercise I've done because it's about me holding myself accountable to my goal. But then I give people an assignment of something to go out to do, to make a difference in either your world or the world of people around you. So today's assignment, so you know, today's assignment was fun, I think, is to pull up a couple of songs from your childhood and listen to them. A couple of songs that you remember listening to as a child, maybe ones that you haven't heard in a while, because you can go on YouTube and everywhere, to get songs these days, and listen to them and think about what your life was like at that time. Good, bad, or indifferent. Who was in your life? What were you doing? Where were you living? What were you feeling, at that time of your life? And then compare it to where you are now. And again, that might be maybe an upward where your life is better now than it was then, or to be fair and humble, some people it might not be any better. It might be worse today than it was back then.
But it's a way, it's down the memory lane, right?
It is down the memory lane, but it's also knowing where you were and where you are now, where you've come from and where you're going, right? And obviously, if you're not in a good place today, there are people out there that can help you, just like you and I, right?
Yeah.
But it was a fun thing. And I thought about it the other day because there was a song, and I said this on my Facebook Live this morning, The Lion Sleeps Tonight. I don't know if you know that song or not, but I remember that song growing up. It came up on the radio. I was in my car by myself. I know every word to that song, and I was just blaring out, which I cannot sing. And I was laughing, but I was like, when I was singing it and I was listening to it, all these memories were coming about where I was at the time I was listening to this song, as a kid or as a young adult. And so that's what sparked the idea to do this assignment. So that's the assignment for today. And then tomorrow there'll be a new assignment.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'll follow you.
Yeah. So I just go on Facebook Live, and I thought instead of just doing it random times, I'm going to try to do it around 10 o'clock in the morning. But it may not be that, because if I'm training or if I'm in a classroom doing other work and stuff, I won't be able to do it at 10 o'clock in the morning. But I'll do it sometime, during the day.
So let me ask you this. As you started, and I know it's only been last week, but when you went to the gym, how has your life changed and how are you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling 10 times better, even though it's only been a week. I'm feeling stronger. I'm feeling more energy. I say more energy. To be honest with you, I'm so out of shape that, I come home and a lot of days I have to take a nap during the afternoon because I'm just worn out. But I'm okay with that. I'm sore. I'm walking around like a little old lady sometimes because I'm kind of pushing because you got to go through that phase, But I know it's the right thing to do, and I have the time to do it, and I'm making the time. And so it goes back to everything we talk about is prioritization, is I need to put myself first. I need to invest in myself so I can invest in others. And I just know I'm going to feel better longer into life if I can kind of get that under control. I'm not looking to be skinny and this big fit person. I just want to feel better. And so I've set a very realistic, when I say very realistic goal, I don't even have a goal. I want to get down to X amount of pounds. I don't have any of that. I want to change my lifestyle that I know will support longer health, down the road. Yeah, that's all I want to do.
So what you said something profound here, that you have to put yourself first.
Yeah.
And so most of my clients and most of the people that I am working with or want to work with are people in my age group. Because one, we are empty nesters. The kids are gone, maybe into college, or maybe they're married and have their own lives. Mine are married. I'm a grandma now. But the thing is that people at this age have always felt that shift in their lifestyle, and they want to, what I would say, a midlife crisis, maybe. Right. And so they're not satisfied with what they have, and they're looking for something else.
Exactly.
They can't find that something else if they don't look deeper inside. Nobody out there is gonna give you an answer. So one of the things that my company Kismet Ventures has this happened to me, because a long time they kept saying you need to think outside the box.
Yeah.
And like John Maxwell says, thinking outside the box is okay, but it's not practical. It's like those frogs wanting to jump in the water, but they never did, because it's not intentional. I mean, they were thinking about it, but they didn't jump. So my logo said, thinking outside the box is redundant. Let me help you out of it. And that still stands. But, I also help. I want to say this because people don't think of themselves first, especially us women.
Yeah.
We always put our husbands and our kids and our grandkids first, and then we are not there.
Yeah.
So like you, I've become self-aware of the fact that I need to take care of myself, because there's a lot of people depending on me.
Absolutely. And I'm not great at it either, to be honest with you, Munira, but that's all part of that evolution of the way we think and the way we approach the world. And that's the beauty of being around people that are doing that and that can encourage you through that. And, that's probably the biggest. I mean, I think I've made some good decisions for myself, but one of the absolute best decisions is to put myself around people that were positive, encouraging, successful, doing some of the things that I wanted to do so I could learn from them. That is probably the best strategic decision that I made. And you're part of that. I mean, and Melanie's part of that. There's a whole group of folks Brad's part of that. I mean, there's so many people, Eric Reed, Brad Milford. I mean, all these, Miziel, he does his lives. Dr. Holly Kelly. I mean, there's so many people that do great sessions, and then everything that the John Maxwell team brings too. But they're just doing really cool things, but then also I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. I want to learn from them, but I want to do something that Diane wants to do, and that is to create something that is unique, to what other people are doing.
So you've birthed it, right?
I'm sorry?
You've already birthed the idea, you've birthed the company. Now it is to nurture it and have it grow, right? So the oak that was in the ground has sprouted.
Yes.
Right?
and I will agree with you there. I mean, I believe, when you think about it, our logo is actually a cool friend of mine in the neighborhood made it. I think it's pretty cool. It's on our pretty much on everything that we do. But it's a tree. So, I mean, and that's nothing big special, but it's a tree. But inside the tree, the way it's built is a person. And so the very classic analogy is, you plant a seed and it starts to grow and then it blossoms and everything. And it's a perfect analogy, but I think we all do it. So the seed's been planted for us. And I would say right now, how I look at it, it's sprouting. I would say it's sprouted, but it's still a little plant. It's still a little plant. It has a whole lot more growing to do. And I look forward to what that looks like. And, part of that growth I have pretty clear in my head as to what I think it should be. And part of it I really don't know yet. But I do know that I've created something good enough that we can now, and I brought a couple people in, that we can create that together and create something really magical. I do believe that.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely. This has been great. I've loved this. This is cool, Munira. We'll do this again.
Yes, we will. And thank you so much. For those people who are watching, just know that I am humbled and honored to have Diane Dick on my show. But for those of you who are watching, please subscribe, like, and share this video, because there's something great coming out of this. And like she said, the little oak has sprouted and it will become an oak tree. It didn't happen overnight, but it will.
That's it. And I would say, if you're looking, for folks that are watching this, if you're looking and needing some clarity and to just get a little focus in life, look Munira up, because she can help you do that. If once you get that clarity and that focus and you kind of know what you want your life to look like, then, come see us at the By Design Learning Institute, and we can probably help you then create that. I think it's a great synergy for both of us. I think we can all help, and it's all about, it is about going back and adding value and just making sure that people, can grow into the best version of themselves.
It is so right. So we are here to help you. All you have to do is ask.
Absolutely.
and the intention to grow. If you
Yes.
have that intention and you don't know how to grow, then all you have to do is that.
That's it. We can help you.
Thank you.
And hey, Munira, you know what today is? Today is the day.
Thank
Today
you.
is the day.
Thank you
That's
for
it.
listening to this episode of Munira's Musings with your host, Munira Zahabi. If you enjoyed our show, please share and subscribe to this channel. And for more content, please join our Facebook group called Navigate to Your Niche.
Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of The Niche Navigator. We hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as we did. If you found value in today's episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave us a review. Your support really helps us keep bringing you amazing content. For more updates and behind-the-scenes glimpses, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and all our other social platforms. The links are in the description below. We'd love to hear your thoughts and connect with you there. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you next week.